everyone, and welcome back to the Crows Show, brought to you by Foodland. I'm Mark Bickley.
And I'm Alana Smith, and yes, we had a couple of weeks off while Channel 7 provided extensive coverage of the Commonwealth Games, and of course, well done to all of our athletes. They did a terrific job.
Yes, they were outstanding. We'll be here now for the rest of the season, bringing you exclusive stories about the Crows players and coaches as 2018 unfolds.
Now, coming up in today's show, why rising midfield star Hugh Greenwood couldn't be happier. And the AFL's one-man judge and jury. Is he getting it right?
But first, from the moment it opened, the redeveloped Adelaide Oval has been universally praised by football and cricket supporters alike. But Perth's impressive new stadium has already been hailed as the best in the country, with the third largest seating capacity. So, how does Adelaide ensure it remains one of the premier footy venues? That's the challenge facing the Stadium Management Authority.
Crows fans, welcome to the beautiful Adelaide Oval and what promises to be an amazing game of footy.
Stadiums all around the world are getting makeovers and being built new from scratch. It's certainly competitive, but we're very proud of what we've got here in Adelaide, and it's we often describe this as a unique stadium in a unique setting. In terms of facilities, our new LED ribbon board and lighting project, which we put in place at the end of last year in conjunction with both AFL clubs here in Adelaide and cricket as well. It gives a great opportunity from an activation point of view, team entries onto the Oval, how they can be now changed to really give some anticipation, excitement. We've introduced card only at the stadium to make sure that we increase the speed of service. And what that means is that you get your food and beverage, you swipe your card and you move straight through. But for those fans that still are not comfortable with cards and they want to use cash, we allow them to transfer their cash to an Adelaide Oval card, and they can use that card at any outlet in the stadium. And then at the end of the day, they can actually take that card back to an exchange point and redeem what is left on that card for cash.
To improve Adelaide Oval, I'd probably make it a little bit larger.
Build a grandstand around the hill. I know that might not be too popular, but more seats.
Make it back to cash.
Have all seating undercover.
I still think we're the loudest stadium in Australia, and we're certainly the most unique.
The crowd get excited, and bounces it through for his third.
The Crows play only once at Perth's new stadium this season, against Freo in round 12. Unfortunately, many footballers know how debilitating Achilles injuries can be. Hugh Greenwood can certainly testify to that. He spent 5 years managing recurring soreness. That was until the off-season, when he underwent surgery, and now there's no holding him back. Thanks to Revolution Roofing, Hugh reflects on a turbulent few months.
Never before in his former life as an elite basketballer or in the past 2 years as a professional footballer has Hugh Greenwood felt so good.
It's touch wood, so far so good. I feel like I'm running better than ever, more efficient. I've still got a long way to go obviously, but in terms of hopefully being able to do back-to-back sessions now. I'm not in the tending group, so I have to take days off. I'm seeing out games, I'm not restricted, so that can only help me as a footballer.
And it's all the result of surgery in Melbourne last November to repair an Achilles injury, which restricted his ability to run and jump.
Walker in front and in the middle, Greenwood.
I definitely feel more explosive, I feel more confident. I feel like I've got a little bit more time and space on the ground. Still have yet to take a bounce in my 3 years at the Adelaide Footy Club, so I'm looking forward to hopefully getting in enough space to take a bounce. That's the next step.
Offhand, Greenwood, the left foot slide bender.
The operation took place shortly after Hugh lost his mother, affectionately known as Oni, to cancer, and he carried her memory into the season opener against Essendon, determined to mark her passing in some way.
It's sort of something that I've been thinking about for 6 months. You think about that moment and how you're going to react and what's going to happen, and Mum's greatest joy was watching her kids play sport, and to sort of celebrate and acknowledge her on that sort of stage was a pretty special moment.
I think that's for Mum looking up to the heavens here for the young fella.
to be able to have that moment. It was sort of just a big weight off my shoulders, and just go over a point and sort of was speaking around the bench a little bit, and it was just sort of good to get that out of the way.
Without the burden of injury, Hugh can clearly set his goals for the rest of the season.
Be able to play every game would be fantastic. The team's success is very, very important. We obviously know what happened last year and where we're striving to get to, put ourselves in the best position to have another crack at it is really important. I want to make sure that my spot's cemented, so when September comes and we get another opportunity, that I'll put my hand up to do so.
Well, it's coming up to a year since Hugh debuted against Brisbane at the Gabba. Now, Adelaide didn't have to wait long for its first encounter with the new match review officer. As we know, Richard Douglas copped a one-game ban in the opening round. 4 weeks later, we've probably had enough time to assess how Michael Christian is performing as the AFL's sole adjudicator. So, Mark, are you a fan?
Yes, I am actually. I think he's been doing really well. Look, one of the things I like about it is the fact that we've got much greater chance of consistency if you just have one person adjudicating each week, so I think that's a big positive. The second part is, of course, he's been really transparent, so he makes his decisions and then he's very happy to go on the radio or TV and explain exactly how he came up with them, and I think that educates the public as well about how he did arrive at the decision. And thirdly is the fact, as we saw with Richard Douglas in round one, if you do want to challenge it, it doesn't cost you an extra week. It cost the club a $10,000 bond to put it up there, but what it was last year was you would go, and if you were found to be guilty still, it did cost you an extra week. The fact that that's gone, I think you'll see a few more people feel comfortable in challenging.
Yeah, costing the club, I guess, either way, but perhaps better in terms of just being a monetary value. Now, what about the speed at which the process is taking place? Yeah, look, that's been a real positive as well. I think we saw that last week in the Collingwood match where on Friday night, young Sam Murray collided with Mitch McGovern. And it did look like there was contact to the head. Many people thought he might have had a case to answer, but pretty much by Saturday morning, Michael Christian had been able to review the footage. He talked about the reasons why he did not have another option as opposed to just going for the footy, and that was cleared. So for Sam Murray, for the Collingwood Football Club and all footy supporters, cleared up by Saturday morning and people move on. Sounds like a big tick from you. Thanks very much, Mark. Now, of course, Michael Christian certainly has a thankless job, so we do wish him well in the role. When we return after the break, we'll revisit the Swans game and catch up with one of the best high flyers the game has ever seen. Now, we know that Brodie Smith is rarely lost for a word, but even he has been stumped by some of the responses from youngsters in our Junior Jam segment, thanks to Thomas Farms. Let's see how he handles one admiring fan.
Welcome to Junior Jam, brought to you by Thomas Farms. Last year I interviewed my teammates. This year I'll be interviewing some of our youngest members. All right, this week we have Caitlin. Welcome, Caitlin. Okay, age, do you play football, and favourite player?
My age is 10, I don't play football, and my favourite player is you.
Oh, nice. Good start. We can get along really well, I think. Do you play any sports?
I play netball.
Netball, nice. And who do you play netball for?
Silver North.
Nice. And do you think one day you might play football?
Probably not.
No? Don't watch any of the women's AFL?
Yeah.
You do? Yep. Do you have a favourite player?
Probably Aaron Phillips.
Aaron Phillips, yep. It's a popular choice. He's very good. Who's cooler, forwards or defenders?
Defenders.
And why?
Because they stop goals.
You are awesome. All right, if you could change one thing about school, what would you change?
Instead of having 1 day health and 1 day PE, both days PE.
Nice, that's a good answer. Obviously a big sports fan, aren't you? Yep. And what sort of sports do you play?
I do boxing, like with
boxing?
my mother.
Nice.
And for Sapsaza, I've done athletics.
Yeah. If you could be invisible for a day, what would you do?
Eat ice cream.
Eat ice cream? So you're not allowed to do that when you're visible?
Yeah, I can, but eat ice cream all day.
All right, thanks for your time, Caitlin.
Caitlin, wouldn't we all like to eat ice cream for a day? Not so good for the waistline though. Do remember to sign up as a Junior Crows member and receive all the great benefits. Head to 19thman.com.au. Now, in recent history, Jeremy Howe ranks as the most brilliant high mark we've seen. The Collingwood aerialist was recruited from Melbourne, and it was in the Demons colours that he grabbed Mark of the Year in 2012 at the SCG. Flight Centre helps us celebrate the great high flyers each week.
I don't intentionally start the game and try and say, okay, I'm going to try and take a hang for the day, but you know, if it sits there, I'm well and truly going to have a go at it. If you get a run and jump at it, the coaches give you all the licence to have a crack, so I think it's good to have the confidence behind from the coaches, but yeah, it's better to glove them than drop. 2012, the one against Sydney. I think it was in my second year. Just got a big ride on Big Grundy. Held me up there for a little bit longer than expected, but you know, that was probably the one that I enjoyed the most. I don't work on it any more than the average kid does, but as it started to feature as a bit of a strength in my game, started working on it at training, and then the old hanger bag comes out and one of the coaches has to chuck it on, which is great. I think the way the game's played now, I think if you can mark the ball in the back up, it's the easiest way to score and transition the ball forward. And the coaches are fully supportive. If you can get two hands of the ball, they want you to mark it instead of just trying to spoil.
Well, Jeremy Howe's from Tasmania and is actually a cousin of Australian cricketer Matthew Wade. Do stay with us. When we return, we'll catch up with the South Australian teenager making his name in the harbour city. And 5 years after his debut, this young man is still determined to prove himself.
Supporters of the North Adelaide Football Club are delighted with the impact young forward Will Hayward has made at the Sydney Swans. He was an outstanding junior for the Roosters before being drafted by the Swans as their second pick in 2016. Still only 19 years old, Hayward is learning from the best in the game, playing alongside Buddy Franklin.
With Big 21, the Sydney Swans have chosen Will Hayward from the North Adelaide Football Club.
Well, he's the one, Sarah, that I mentioned before. He reminds me a lot of James Sicily. He's absolute pack full of power. He's got the ability to kick goals from outside 50. He does it with ease.
I was very excited to be selected at any team in the draft's a dream come true. So, whatever team called me out, I would have been stoked regardless.
Hayward just waiting out the back, and he'll get another one for the Swans.
The club and the boys here were really good and helped me settle in perfectly. So obviously being in the forward line, the big forwards there helped me a lot. Sam Reid and Bud, they've been great. And then Luke Parker's an official mentor of mine who is really approachable and helps me with my development off the field a lot. So he's been great as well.
This will make it 4 in a row and make life very difficult for the Giants right now. It's all Sydney at the SCG.
I don't think there's a ceiling on what the club can do this year. We're fit. We've had a decent start to the year, so obviously the main goal is to go all the way and win the flag, and that's what I think everyone has their sights set on. But obviously just take it week by week and work our way there.
Hayward bends it around. Took 8 seconds.
Will is a product of the Walkerville Cats. Now he's a Swan until the end of 2020 after signing a contract extension. Earlier in the show, we reflected on the success of Adelaide Oval, and there's no doubt it's been a huge plus in the growth of Crows membership. Since the club started playing in the city in 2014, the number of members has risen by nearly 40%, breaking records each year. As we reported last week, it now stands at more than 82,000, a remarkable achievement in what is a very competitive landscape. And it goes without saying that members are the lifeblood of the clubs, and Adelaide certainly has some of the most passionate members and supporters in the AFL. 2017 couldn't have been tougher for Cam Ellis-Yolmen. Entering the final year of his contract, he was determined to show he belonged at AFL level. But a pre-season injury required a knee reconstruction for the second time in his career. The cruel blow led to him being dropped from the Crows' senior list, but he was given a lifeline through the rookie draft. He's repaid the club with strong form this year.
Ellis-Yolmen hurt his knee in the first quarter against the Tigers on Friday night, but managed to play out much of the game. However, scans showed he'd ruptured his anterior cruciate ligament and he'd missed the entire season.
But really disappointing and sad for Cam. He was really on a hell-bent on a really big season. So it was pretty devastating to find out he was going to miss a whole year, and that's footy.
It's a savage blow for the promising midfielder who's in the last year of his contract.
The club reassured me that I was going to get picked up again on the rookie list, but you never know really, and I was definitely worried during the off-season.
712201, Cameron Ellis-Yolmen, Adelaide.
Once my name was called out, I was all good, and I was just looking forward to the pre-season and being able to train with the boys again and get back into it. You come off a big injury and all you want to do is prove that you're still able to play footy again. So I was really determined to get back, whether it be SNFL or AFL. I just wanted to play round one and play footy again, because it's something that you miss 12 months out. It's a long time to not play the game that you love.
Here is Ellis-Yolmen. Yep, he's got it. Speak of the boy.
That's probably the best thing. Just obviously you're out for a whole year and you're watching and you see them go through such a great year, and then to come back and be a part of it on the ground, it's just unbelievable.
He's got it. He's having a good night.
Let's hope the footy gods are a little kinder to Cam in the future. Still to come on the Crows Show, fans get to choose their dinner guest, and heartfelt thanks to Beck Goddard.
You will have all caught up with the news that our AFLW Premiership coach Beck Goddard has returned to Canberra to pursue her career with the Federal Police. The club will always be indebted to Beck for her tireless efforts in helping launch the Crows women's team in the AFLW competition and guiding them to the inaugural flag. She leaves a lasting impression on all those that she's worked with, in particular the players.
When people talk about the inaugural season, a name that they're going to always remember probably first is Beck Goddard.
Beck has inspired so many people across Australia, and she has an incredible act of being able to bring people together. I'm going to miss her quirky stories and everything that she brought to this football club.
For her to come in and create a group as special as she did and achieve what she did with a premiership, you really just can't speak enough about her.
Fortunately, Beck is not lost to football and will be an assistant coach with the Canberra Demons, so we wish her very well. Now, here's something to ponder. If you could invite one player to join you for dinner, who would it be?
I think we'd want Tex Walker.
Wouldn't mind having Tex around, just because I love the bloke. I reckon Rory's slow, so I can talk him into staying.
Yeah, Riley Knight.
Why's that?
Because I've met him before and he's a really nice player and he's good.
Tex, I love Tex. Oh, the new kid. Yeah, go on, Darcy.
I know, I reckon Rory Atkins. Got to go with Lockie Murphy, my boy. He's always good fun.
Tex Walker.
I think Tex.
I think personally I'd have to go with Sloaney. He's a good cook, so I could hand over some of the duties. All right, now is the time to find our face in the crowd. A merchandise pack from Toyota is up for grabs, so who will it be? Let's settle on you. If you recognise yourself, contact the club by 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Be ready with some photo ID and the prize will be all yours.
That's about all we have time for today, thanks to Foodland.
Now next week we'll sit down with former Crow Jared Lyons, who's found a new life on the Gold Coast.
Yes, and don't forget, for all the latest team news and interviews, go to the club website afc.com.au, as well as Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, thanks very much for your company. We look forward to joining you again next Sunday on 7. We'll see you then.
Bye for now.